My friends, there is a silent war being fought inside every human being. A war between impulse and intelligence, emotion and reason, greed and gratitude. Victory in this battle determines whether a man will rise to greatness or sink into mediocrity. Let us begin with the mouth, for words are the architects of destiny. A careless word can destroy a dream. A disciplined word can build an empire. Speak only that which uplifts, instructs, and advances your purpose. A tongue without control is a cannon without aim, loud, powerful, and destructive. Remember this eternal law. Those who cannot control their mouths will never control their futures. Now to the mind, the workshop of your fate. Every fortune, every failure begins in thought. Guard it as a king guards his crown. Fill it with visions of purpose, not pollution of doubt. The uncontrolled mind wanders toward worry, while the trained mind marches toward wealth. Whatever you hold in your mind with faith and persistence must eventually manifest itself in your world. Next comes the mood, your emotional temperature. When your emotions rule you, logic becomes a prisoner. Yet when you rule your emotions, you become unstoppable. Anger blinds the wise. Fear paralyzes the strong, and impatience robs the persistent. Calmness, my friends, is not weakness. It is power harnessed. The world bows before the man who can smile in storm and stand tall in trial. And then there is money, the final test of discipline. Money is energy. It flows where order exists and flees from confusion. The one who controls his spending, invests his earnings, and multiplies his resources demonstrates mastery over self. For the undisciplined mind cannot hold disciplined wealth. Money will always follow the one who respects it, plans for it, and uses it with purpose. When you can govern your mouth, mind, mood, and money, you possess the master key to self-command. That is the secret of achievement, the essence of freedom, and the root of all prosperity. So I challenge you today, speak with wisdom, think with clarity, feel with balance, and spend with vision. For the man who conquers himself has no rivals, no limits, and no chains. Your success begins, not with the world outside, but with the world within. The first law of power over self is the law of control, and it begins with your mouth. Your mouth is the steering wheel of your destiny. What you speak, you shape. What you release into the air, you invite into your life. Every word is a seed, and those seeds either grow gardens of success or weeds of destruction. A man who cannot control his words cannot command his world. Every empire begins in silence and rises through speech that is guided, not reckless. When you learn to speak with purpose, restraint, and conviction, you begin to hold in your hands the first true key to personal mastery. Control begins with awareness. Most people speak without thinking. They react, not respond. Their emotions dictate their language, and their language directs their life, often toward ruin. A word spoken in anger can destroy relationships that took years to build. A careless comment can close doors of opportunity that may never open again. But a word spoken with discipline can create peace, attract allies, and build bridges that lead to greatness. The wise understand that silence is not weakness, it is power stored. The fool rushes to speak. The master waits, observes, and then delivers words that move minds and stir hearts. Your tongue is the sword of your spirit. You may use it to wound yourself or to win battles. Every time you criticize, complain, or gossip, you drain your own energy and broadcast weakness to the universe. Every time you affirm, uplift, or declare faith, you call power to your side. Speak less of what you fear and more of what you intend to build. Speak not to impress, but to express truth. Speak not from anger, but from understanding. The more control you exercise over your mouth, the more control you gain over your life. But control of the mouth is only the beginning. To truly command your destiny, you must extend that control to your mind. For your words are merely reflections of your thoughts. The mind is the factory, the mouth is the outlet. If your thoughts are chaotic, your words will be careless. If your thoughts are focused, your words will be fruitful. So the law of control demands that you first govern the mind, because the mouth only echoes what the mind believes. And yet, no control is possible without emotion under discipline. The greatest men and women in history were those who did not allow their moods to dictate their moves. They learned to master emotion, to remain calm under pressure, patient under delay, and persistent under pain. When your mind commands your mood, your speech becomes powerful and your decisions precise. Finally, this same control must extend to your relationship with money. Money reveals character. It flows toward order and flees from chaos. When you spend without thought, you confess your lack of control. But when you plan, save, and invest with purpose, you declare to life that you are ready for abundance. The universe does not reward those who waste. It rewards those who organize, discipline, and direct their resources with vision. The law of control is not a single act. It is a daily practice. It demands that you watch your words, guard your thoughts, steady your emotions, and structure your finances. When you command yourself, you need command no other. True power is not in ruling others, but in ruling your own impulses. The man who can hold his tongue when provoked, focus his mind when distracted, balance his mood when tested, and manage his money when tempted. That man is unconquerable. Master yourself, and the world will follow your command. The mind is the master builder, the silent architect of every triumph and every tragedy. What you allow to live in your mind will soon live in your life. Mental discipline. E is the invisible force that separates the dreamers from the doers, the weak from the wise, and the lost from the leaders. You are not what you wish for. You are what you think for. Every thought is a command to the universe, shaping your reality whether you are conscious of it or not. The undisciplined mind drifts like a ship without a captain, tossed by every wave of circumstance. The disciplined mind sails with direction, power, and certainty, no matter how fierce the storm. Most people do not think, they merely react. Their minds are filled with noise, doubts, fears, and distractions. They let outside forces write their inner scripts. They consume chaos through what they see and hear, and then wonder why peace eludes them. To master mental discipline is to become the guardian of your own gates, to decide what enters and what remains. Just as you would not allow poison into your body, you must not allow negativity into your mind. Every day, thoughts knock at your mental door. You have the power to let them in or send them away. Your mind is both a servant and a master. If you control it, it will carry you to greatness. If you neglect it, it will enslave you with excuses. Train it daily as you would a muscle. Discipline it to hold one thought until that thought takes form. Concentration is the foundation of all power. The weak mind flits from goal to goal, from doubt to doubt, never building momentum. The strong mind locks onto its purpose with unshakable focus and refuses to let go until victory is secured. Mental discipline demands that you guard your imagination, for imagination is the blueprint of your future. If you imagine failure, fear, or limitation, life will obediently produce it. But if you imagine success, confidence, and abundance, the world will begin to rearrange itself in your favor. Your outer world is nothing but the reflection of your inner pictures. Therefore, fill your mind with what you want, not with what you fear. Control also means mas, tearing the internal dialogue, the voice that speaks when no one is listening. That voice can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. When it whispers doubt, you must answer with faith. When it brings up past mistakes, you must remind it of future victories. Speak to yourself as a commander speaks to his army, with authority, with vision, with belief. The one who cannot command his own thoughts will forever be commanded by circumstance. Mental discipline is not about ignoring challenges. It is about refusing to surrender to them. It is not denial of difficulty, but dominance over it. The disciplined mind says, I will find a way, even when none appears. It remains calm when others panic, focused when others scatter, determined when others quit. Such a mind attracts solutions, resources, and strength. To develop it, you must feed it properly. Read what uplifts you. Listen to what empowers you. Think on what strengthens you. You cannot expect clarity if you constantly consume confusion. The mind becomes what it repeatedly dwells upon. Therefore, meditate on greatness until it becomes your nature. In the end, all achievement begins and ends with the mind. No man can rise above the level of his thinking. Wealth, peace, love, and power all bow before the one who has disciplined his thought life. When your mind obeys you, everything else will. The body will follow, emotions will align, and opportunities will appear. True freedom is not found in the world outside. It is found in mastering the world within. Emotions are the hidden engines of human behavior. Silent forces that drive decisions, shape destinies, and determine the quality of every life. The man who masters his emotions masters himself, and the one who masters himself becomes the architect of his own future. Emotional mastery is not the absence of feeling, it is the control of feeling. It is the ability to choose your response rather than surrender to reaction. Every battle in life is first won in the heart before it is won in the world. Most people are ruled by their moods. They rise when life pleases them and fall when it does not. Their emotions swing like a pendulum, making them slaves to circumstance. But greatness demands steadiness, the power to remain calm when others crumble, to stay kind when others are cruel, and to persist when others quit. Emotional mastery is strength under control, fire directed by purpose. It is the art of keeping your inner world stable, no matter how the outer world shakes. To master emotion, you must first understand it. Emotion is energy in motion. It moves through you to tell you something about what you believe. Anger signals that your boundaries have been crossed. Fear shows you where faith must grow. Sadness reveals what you value most. But while emotion is a messenger, it must never become your master. The wise receive the message, but do not hand over the throne. They feel deeply, but act deliberately. The uncontrolled emotion is a destroyer. It burns bridges, poisons relationships, clouds judgment, and blinds vision. Many men have lost fortunes, friendships, and futures because they could not control a moment of rage. A single outburst has undone years of labor. But the one who can stand calm while the world attacks him, who can speak softly while others shout, who can wait when others rush, that one possesses a power greater than gold. Emotional mastery begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not recognize. Pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this feeling guiding me towards strength or weakness? The moment you name an emotion, you neutralize its power to control you. Take ownership of your feelings. They are not caused by others, they are created by your interpretation of others. Change the meaning and you change the emotion. Next comes transformation. Turn anger into determination, fear into preparation, doubt into curiosity, and sadness into reflection. Every emotion carries raw energy. Direct the energy toward your goals. When you are hurt, build. When you are afraid, act. When you are doubted, prove. Emotion can be your greatest enemy or your strongest ally. The choice lies in how you use it. To master emotion is also to master expression. Do not repress feelings, for suppression leads to explosion. Instead, express them wisely. Speak when you have calmed, act when you have planned. Emotion without reason is chaos. Reason without emotion is emptiness. The truly powerful blend both, feeling deeply, yet thinking clearly. The secret of emotional mastery is inner peace. Peace does not mean the absence of storms. It means being centered while the storm rages. When your inner state no longer depends on outer events, you have achieved true freedom. The man who can smile amid struggle, remain grateful in loss, and hopeful in uncertainty has found the unshakable foundation of greatness. Remember this truth: emotional mastery is self-mastery, and self-mastery is life mastery. You cannot control the seasons, the people, or the world, but you can always control your response. And when you do, nothing can defeat you. Calm is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. The one who owns his emotions owns his destiny. Hebrew money is not the root of evil, nor the source of happiness. It is a mirror that reflects your discipline, your decisions, and your destiny. Financial integrity begins not in the bank, but in the mind. It is not about how much you earn, but how wisely you manage what passes through your hands. The one who cannot be trusted with a little will never be trusted with a lot. The universe does not reward the careless, it rewards the conscientious. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It is the natural result of order, vision, and restraint. Many chase money without mastering self, and thus they lose both. They want wealth without wisdom, riches without responsibility. But money, like power, magnifies who you are. If you are reckless, it will amplify your destruction. If you are disciplined, it will multiply your influence. Financial integrity is the ability to control your money instead of letting your money control you. It is the practice of making every dollar a servant of your purpose, not a master of your desire. The first law of financial integrity is honesty. Be honest in how you earn, spend, and think about money. Every dishonest gain carries a hidden curse. Every honest effort carries a silent blessing. When you cheat, you lose something far more valuable than money. You lose trust, peace, and spiritual power. The person who lies for $1 will eventually fall for the same dollar. Build wealth with clean hands, and you will sleep with a clear mind. The second law is discipline. Spend less than you earn, save more than you spend, and invest more than you waste. It sounds simple, yet few obey it. Why? Because desire is louder than discipline. Most people buy what they don't need to impress those who don't care, then wonder why they are broke in both pocket and purpose. Wealth begins when you learn to say no. No to impulsive buying, no to emotional spending, no to temporary pleasures that steal long-term peace. The man who cannot say no to his impulses will forever say yes to debt. The third law is vision. Money grows where purpose flows. Every dollar should have a direction, every expense a reason, every investment a goal. If you do not give your money a mission, it will find its own, and it will usually work against you. Plan your finances the way a builder plans his structure, with blueprints, patience, and precision. Wealth is not built by accident. It is built by design. The fourth law is gratitude. When you are grateful for what you have, you open the door for more. Gratitude multiplies, greed divides. Never despise small beginnings, for those who honor small blessings are being tested for greater ones. The habit of appreciation turns limited resources into unlimited opportunity. Finally, financial int. Equity is not just about accumulation. It is about contribution. True wealth is not measured by how much you keep, but by how much good you create. Money is a tool to build, to uplift, to expand what is good in the world. The one who gives with wisdom never lacks, for generosity keeps the river of abundance flowing. Hoarding stagnates, giving circulates. To live with financial integrity is to align your money with your morals, your spending with your standards, and your wealth with your wisdom. It is to see money as a reflection of your mind, ordered, calm, and purposeful. When you master your financial habits, you declare mastery over one of life's greatest tests. Remember this truth. The person who cannot govern his money will always be governed by it. But the one who commands every coin with clarity and conscience will never be enslaved by fear, greed, or scarcity. Control your money, and you will control your freedom. Hebrew, silence is not weakness, it is the language of strength. In a world that shouts, the one who can remain silent holds true power. The greatest minds in history understood this. That silence is not emptiness, but energy under control. Words may reveal intelligence, but silence reveals mastery. The man who speaks less often sees more, hears more, and understands more. Power does not come from noise, it comes from inner command. And self-command is the highest form of leadership, for it is the ability to rule oneself before attempting to influence others. The undisciplined man speaks to be heard, the disciplined man speaks to be understood. The former reacts, the latter responds. Every word that escapes your mouth either builds credibility or destroys it. Many lose respect not because of what they do, but because of what they say without thought. A single sentence can expose ignorance, reveal insecurity, or betray weakness, but silence, intelligent silence, gives you time to think, to observe, and to act with precision. Self-command begins with TH. Is mastery of silence. It is the art of pausing before reacting, the strength to remain calm when provoked, and the wisdom to choose your words with purpose. When your emotions roar and your mind burns with the urge to respond, that is the moment to be still. The one who can stand quiet in the storm possesses more power than the one who shouts to be heard. To command yourself is to know that you do not need to prove anything to anyone. The insecure seek validation. The confident seek understanding. When you control your tongue, your mind follows. When you control your impulses, your life follows. Every great achievement begins with inner control. Control of speech, thought, action, and emotion. The man who cannot command himself will always be commanded by others. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. It allows you to hear the voice within. The intuition, the conscience, the quiet wisdom that is often drowned by noise. When you stop talking, you start hearing truth. When you stop reacting, you start seeing clearly. In silence, your mind regains its strength. Your focus sharpens. Your peace returns. The world honors those who can remain centered while others are consumed by chaos. Self-command is the foundation of influence. People trust those who remain composed. They follow those who radiate calm. True leaders do not need to raise their voice. Their presence speaks louder than words. Authority built on anger collapses. Authority built on control endures. The one who can hold his peace in pressure commands both himself and the moment. To develop self-command, practice restraint. Pause before speaking, delay before deciding, reflect before reacting. Measure your words as a jeweler measures precious stones. Say only what serves purpose, uplifts others, or advances your goal. A single wise sentence has more power than 1,000 careless ones. The strongest voice is often the one that chooses silence until the right moment. C. Lens also reveals who you are when no one is watching. It shows whether your thoughts are in harmony or in conflict. The one at war with himself cannot enjoy silence. He needs noise to drown his chaos. But the one who has mastered himself finds peace in stillness, for he no longer fears his own thoughts. The power of silence and self-command lies in the ability to stand firm without speaking, to lead without forcing, to win without fighting. It is strength restrained, confidence concealed, and wisdom refined. When you can hold your words, you can hold your world. When you can govern yourself, no man can govern you. The true mark of greatness is quiet power, the unshakable calm of one who rules from within. There exists one key that unlocks every door to success, peace, and power, the master key of self-control. It is the key that opens the vaults of wisdom, the gates of fortune, and the chambers of inner freedom. Without it, all other efforts crumble. With it, all other virtues strengthen. The man who holds mastery over himself holds mastery over life. Every victory in the outer world begins with triumph in the inner one. The greatest battles are not fought on fields of war, but within the mind, the heart, and the will. The master key is built upon discipline. The ability to think before speaking, plan before acting, and remain calm before reacting. It is the foundation of character, the cornerstone of success, and the shield against defeat. Those who possess it do not live by chance or emotion. They live by design and direction. While others are tossed by circumstance, they stand unmoved, steering their course with quiet certainty. They have learned that control is not confinement, it is command. Self-mastery is not about denying feeling, thought, or desire. It is about governing them. Your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, all are servants waiting for instruction. When they are left to run wild, they create confusion and loss. But when ruled by the disciplined will, they become instruments of greatness. The master key unites all these powers into harmony, transforming scattered effort into focused achievement. It begins with awareness. You cannot master what you do not understand. Study yourself as you would study an opponent in battle. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, your tendencies. The man who knows himself cannot be deceived by others, for he recognizes the patterns of his own nature. Awareness is light. It exposes the shadows that keep you enslaved to habit and impulse. Once seen, they can be conquered. Next comes willpower, the invisible muscle of achievement. The will commands and the world obeys. Yet, like any muscle, it strengthens only through use. Each time you resist a temptation, you grow in mastery. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you forge another link in the chain of power. The one who trains his will daily becomes unstoppable, for he no longer waits for motivation. He acts from mastery. The master key also requires emotional balance. A turbulent mind cannot focus. A disturbed heart cannot lead. Calmness is the proof of strength. When you remain composed in adversity, you demonstrate control over self, not submission to circumstance. The wise do not waste energy fighting every storm. They adjust their sails and continue forward. That steady composure, that quiet persistence is the mark of true mastery. And then there is purpose. Self-control without purpose is mere suppression. You must know where you are going, why you are going, and what price you are willing to pay. Purpose gives your discipline direction and your silence meaning. It transforms sacrifice into strategy. The master key does not open the door for the idle or the indifferent. It opens for the one whose vision burns bright enough to endure the tests of patience, pain, and persistence. In the end, the master key is self-command, the ruling of one's own thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. T is the secret of leaders, builders, creators, and conquerors. The man who controls himself can control his destiny. The man who cannot will forever be ruled by the world. True True power does not come from wealth, status, or followers. It comes from mastery within. When you possess the master key, you no longer chase success, you attract it. You no longer seek approval, you radiate confidence. You no longer fear loss, you command abundance. For the world belongs to the one who has mastered himself, completely, calmly, and courageously.